Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Me and KJ's here.
Nobody knows the troubles I've seen.
Uh,
Nobody knows my sorrow.
no, nobody wants me to sing.
Right. This has been just one of those days that you don't know whether or not you should have got out of bed or not.
Right. I have, yeah, I've had my fair share of those days, and
Ugh.
I know I'm not finished with them either. There's
How
not a comforter big enough to crawl under.
how are you doing? How are you holding up after today's news?
Um, Better now. Eric texted me. Awake? Are you awake? Are you awake? And then I saw you had text, and so I was like, just I'd shot you a text or him, and then you, and then he hit me with the hey, I'm just letting you know the trigger warning. Eric gave me the trigger warning, as he always does. I mean, that's why I cherish him.
He is such a good man, and he is so.
Like a brother to
Yeah,
me.
he's on top of things. I'd love to meet him one day. I hope one
You
day I get.
will. He'll be there. He'll
He
be there.
really will. He really will be there.
That's what he says.
Well, that's
He
pretty.
better.
And I've got to get Jen's autograph. Jen, she's someone I need to get her autograph.
Uh, my bonus son today, I was replaying my the last live or whatever, to kind of refresh myself, on what I talked about and joked about, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was watching it, and he was like, "I waved at you, Mama K, but you didn't wave back." And I was like, "Well, I can't see you. You know that, right?" And then I so happened to say that to Jennifer Diane. I was like, "Hey, I waved at you on Discord." And so I said, "Look, I say it right there." And he was like, oh, "Okay."
Uh,
He waved at the TV, and I'm sitting right there watching
oh my
us,
Lord.
me watching us watching me on TV. It was funny. It was cute. And he said, "I want your autograph." I was like, "I will on all your report cards. Don't worry, bud."
Now I don't know. I mean, he's just Johnny on the spot. And a good example of that was when we was down in Louisiana, and he had sent that when we were over there at the crawfish bowl, and
Mhm.
he just stays on top of things.
He does. He does. And I mean, I value, I mean, I just can't wait to, I wish I could hug everybody here, everybody that's been here, everybody here, this community. I wish I could hug every one of them. And maybe
Oh,
one day I'll, cross it a little bit, something. I try to be realistic. No, not everybody, but I want to meet as many people as possible and hug them and just thank them face to face. There's nothing more. I don't know. It's
I'm telling you that you've got some people that love you, believe in you, know that you are a woman of integrity. I mean, I am not trying to push your buttons here. I'm telling you straight up, they'll agree. Every one of them will agree. We all love you. When I think about today, and I think about all the times that you're going through your grief process, and then you get to that point where another thing drops, it's almost like you're throwing yourself back into the grief process all over again.
it's like yeah, you never know what cycle. I'm here, my mom's here, my dad's here, my everybody's somewhere else in their grief process, and you never know. I mean, it could be nothing. When it gets quiet, I get nervous. I'm like, okay, when's the rug going to be pulled out? When's the sucker punch coming? And it's
I
like,
would say
there it is.
that would be considered anxiety, I would say.
I have had it since I was 15 years old, and I was not medicated for it until I was 28. So I've
So
had a
you
life of
learned how to cope. You learned
uh,
to cope with all that until
yeah,
you were able to get some kind of medication for it.
right. And I mean, it doesn't take it away, but it does help. It does. I'm a firm believer in that. I mean, I've tried every other way, and I still continue to try every other way. That's a last resort for me. But it is kind of like the placebo effect, just in case. Sometimes it's just knowing that that's there. if I feel an anxiety, anxious or whatever, or yeah, that's there. Thank
Wow.
you, Dokie. Thank you, Fish Face 123
Fish,
is
yeah, Fish Face 123ism and Okie Dokie. Hello, Kathy, Jennifer Dillon, Kimberly,
Dokie.
Carrie Ann, Never Lose Hope, Indian Paintbrush, Sis One, Groovy Tuesday.
I
Uh,
like that name.
Man, there are some really awesome people on here tonight.
And Mrs. Ron Hensley.
Yeah, Ron. Ron. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, whoever is in
Mhm.
the States, okay, and I wish I could extend this to other countries, but surely you understand it would be hard for me. But anyone in the States that gives the largest donation tonight, I will commit a piece of KJ's artwork to you and will send it to you free of charge, okay? So the largest donation on here tonight will get a piece of KJ's art, okay?
That's so sweet. I mean, oh, it's unnecessary, but it is appreciated.
Well, we
You
definitely
know,
got to think
I'm
about
the
that.
realist, and I
Nobody
mean,
wants to
it's
talk
not
about
free.
it, but the bottom line is there is a trial coming up in January of
Fast.
2023. You have a family just like everybody else. Some people can give, some people cannot give, but I'll tell you one thing, everybody gives on here in one
Yes.
way or the other, whether it's through
Yes.
emotional support or monetary.
Liking, sharing, being here. Yes. I mean, doing this, y'all do this with me. I'm not by myself. My family, we're not by ourselves. And it's because of y'all. It's God's army. It's That's who y'all are. In my mind, y'all are healing for me. Y'all give me a reason to get up, to be accountable. Thank you, San Willow. I just saw I'm scrolling.
Sam Willa's been very consistent on donating. Have you
So
noticed?
has Okie Dokie and
And
Fish Face.
okie dokie, I'm telling you, they all have.
Thank
It's
y'all so
just
much.
incredible. And y'all, I'm telling you, you ain't gonna do any better than that.
I
It just has to be said and it has to be talked about.
It's a silver
Bottom,
lining. Yeah, and it sucks. It sucks to talk about it. I mean, I will do the Matrix, trying not to talk about it. I mean, because it really doesn't matter. It's not. It's not why I'm here. I'd be here no matter what. I just want to be there no matter what. And that's just being realistic. I'm still going to be frugal. I'll live pillow to post. I don't care. I will camp out with a tent, you know?
no,
They should have plenty up there for sale. I'm just speaking.
listen, folks, I want to say this because I want to confess this. Before we came in here on the live stream, I had to talk to Cresha. And I told her I was concerned about me discussing today's information because the last thing I want to do is trigger her, upset her, or anything. And you know what? This woman is strong. She understands it has to be talked about. And I it's today, like when I had the earlier today, the live stream that I had, that hit me like a ton of bricks, as I told all of y'all. Um, and it just hurt me very deeply. And this is a victim's family member, and so it was that much harder for me to even get the news from it. Again, Eric, he's the best.
Yeah.
G and all she's done, and
AJ.
all of you.
I mean, yeah, Gigi and Fruit Loop. I mean, everybody is so supportive, and this is the silver lining in this. This is where their spirits live on in my mind, in my heart, and that's my way of dealing with this, and that is where they live, and it's right here because I feel like when you stop saying their names, that's when they truly die. And I mean, we'll never forget. I know that. I
I
know
know,
that.
but when we're talking about
It's o I mean, it's not
specificity,
okay, but it's
but when we're talking about specificity on DNA evidence,
mm,
and this is specifically about JJ,
yeah,
the first thing I think in my mind is she woke up today. Eric got with her, which was the right thing to do. Bless his heart for everything he
not
does.
everybody is blessed with that either, though, so I'm like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus," you
And
know?
then I think what she must have been stunned. She had to have felt, because I'll never know unless You tell us.
I
And
was doing it. It's same as you. As you, I could see it in you, and I was like, "Me too, KJ. Me too. Gotta calm down." And it was really just me trying to forward it to Jason, me trying to forward it to you, email. And so I was like, what? You know, I was pulled in all kinds of places, but I was scatterbrained. I mean, you know, so therefore I couldn't collect all my nuts. They were nowhere near each other. And as you started to, you know, process, and we were processing together, just like in a lot of things in this, I process with you. You have no idea, you
it,
know.
it just makes it to where you are forced to think about what actually happened.
But aren't we going to be anyways? I mean, today was, and this is a perfect analogy. Today was the perfect example of, bam, that reality that is coming straight at us, you know? And it's something we're gonna have to endure. We're gonna have to face it head on. I'm going to. I can only speak for myself. I'm going to have to, and I've got to just do what I can. You know, I may not be able to make it there every day. I may not feel like it. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with it, like I've done through this entire process. Thank you, JLL.
Allison Plebe, I hope I'm saying that right. Allison Plebe
Yeah,
said, I heard it on Idaho News.
Bumblebee.
This is a good thing. All DNA at once, both cases, then done. And Allison, that kind of sums it up for what I've got to say, Cresha. Let me just get this out of the way.
Okay.
Prosecutors in the Chad and Vallow-Daybell case are asking a judge to allow comprehensive DNA testing on several pieces of evidence. In a motion filed Monday, Fremont County Prosecuting Attorney Lindsay Blake and Madison County Prosecuting Attorney Rob Wood asked Judge Stephen Boyce to allow them to test the following items. And this was the items that triggered us all.
Yeah.
Hairs on the duct tape inside a body bag used to transport the remains of JJ. Ridge detail, fingerprints on the adhesive side of tape associated with JJ's body. Small dark spots on the handles of a shovel and pickaxe recovered from a garage and barn. Swabs of tape areas. Swabs from fingernails from JJ's right hand obtained during his autopsy. Prosecutors are asking for consumptive testing on the items, which means testing can only be done one time, as this type of testing would obliterate, the evidence.
Yeah.
Wood originally wanted consumptive DNA performed in April of 2021, according to court documents, but Chad and Lori's attorneys objected. Lori's case was then put on hold when she was placed in the custody of the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. She was found competent for trial in April of 2022. In the motion filed this week, prosecutors note they have not had consumptive testing done on any materials up to this point, but ask Boyce to now allow it. Defense attorneys often have someone observe a videotape consumptive testing, as it can only be done once.
What page are we on? 3?
I don't know how yours print off, but
Oh, mine's just on Justin Lum.
yeah, the defense attorneys often have someone observe or videotape consumptive testing, as it can only be done once. The testing would normally be conducted at the Idaho State Police Forensic Services laboratory in Meridian. But lab manager Riley Nolan submitted an affidavit asking Boyce to have it done elsewhere. Quote, I affirm our manual restricts visitors from operational areas of the laboratory due to the risk of contamination and disruption of work. Due to the contamination risk, the risk of distraction could lead to errors caused by having someone video the laboratory analysis, and the necessary shutdown of all other work in the laboratory during filming. The laboratory requests to have samples analyzed. We're requesting that the samples be analyzed by independent accredited DNA laboratory instead of the Idaho State Police Forensic Services. Nolan confirms in her affidavit that testing performed on the items requested would consume all of them during analysis. Prosecutors requested that Boyce schedule a hearing on the motion. It has not been set as of Tuesday morning. So that's what East Idaho News has, Krisha.
Yeah.
And there it's
Oh,
a,
you're on East Idaho News. I'm on Justin Lum.
yeah, it breaks it down in terms of the DNA testing. It
Yeah.
talks about several things, but I think the most important thing that I've gotten out of it initially that I didn't know earlier today was that they have not performed any of these tests yet.
Y'all know that this is whenever, okay. And I mean, I don't know. I remember this coming up a long time ago. I remember automatically thinking, okay, that's Tylee. That's poor Tylee, because of how she was bound. Okay. And so my mind automatically defaulted to Tylee as far as that DNA evidence. And I remember just feeling so weird, just bad, weird. You hurt for them. And I remember thinking, after talking it out and listening and doing what we do, learning off of from each other, researching, educating ourselves. Um, I was like, okay, so they just have this one shot, basically, of this piece of evidence. No matter if it was Tylee or JJ, I mean, it's the same thing as far as process of what it is. And I was thinking, okay, I'm kind of glad. I'm really glad, actually, that they waited. I'm glad it happened the way it did, because let's say that Means um, would have, Mark Means would have been her attorney, um, and they did the testing, and everybody has freaking rights, okay? And they get to be there, which I understand. However, there's only that one shot. Now, Mark Means leaves, enter Archibald and Thomas. They also get a shot too. They want to be there with their investigators, their what do you call them? Professionals, whatever, experts. There's only so much to go around. So I'm glad in this sense that Means didn't get to take some of it too, and then just basically destroy it. So if something happens to like um, Archibald and Thomas, and let's say they do the consumptive, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's say they do that testing and use it all up, and then let's say she gets a new attorney. Well, what will happen? That's my question. That's all.
I would have
I
never
really thought
ever
it was.
been able to think about that. You're exactly right. The way that this case has gone since last year and Mark Means getting kicked off, that's the whole, when you talk about us learning from each other, I've always had to learn from everyone because I can't think of everything, and I would have
No,
thought of that.
that's why God was like, okay, here you go. Here's your army. And I'm like, thank you, God, all the time. Thank you, okie dokie.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
I'm just, all I'm saying is that there is no doubt that like on the KJ and the Ray, Eric had even said when he got the documents, he said his heart dropped. Kathy said her heart dropped. There are
Mhm.
people on here that they understand.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not you, Crescia. They're not. They don't know the depth of your grief. They don't know where
Oh,
you're at.
I mean, I know, but everybody has their own gifts, their own, I mean, just brilliant together. Like, that's where the strength is together. Can you imagine? I've said this to myself. I've thought this to myself. Can you, I'm thinking, can you freaking imagine you and your mom, me and mom, going through all these text documents or whatever? It just, if we didn't have all this, all of y'all, can you effing imagine? Oh my God. There's no way. God knew that we couldn't carry all this. God knew that. he knows we were some bad ASSESs.
That's true.
Obviously, I'm like, okay, all right, you know, and yes, sir. Dang, I don't want to let him down, but I'm also um, humble with it, and I know that I cannot do this by myself. And
We're
so,
all here for you, honey. Every one of us are here for you.
thank God.
Candace and my friend Jenny make a point that I was fixing to make. The defense does not want the testing because the results will be final and prove their guilt. And if they objected last year, Cresha, you know it and I know it, and they say it right here, and
Oh, okay. I have
they'll
to read things
do it
sometimes.
again. They're going to object. And Leanne Ferguson says, I get that, but there has been so many cases before where there wasn't enough for everybody to do the testing. I had assumed there had been some sort of precedent for cases like this. Well, Leanne, there is. It's the brief in support of motion for consumptive testing of forensic evidence from the state of Idaho. This motion here from Lindsay Blake and Rob Wood, and it does go into that, and maybe we can get to that later on. But I will say this, Leanne Ferguson, they do cite several cases that
Mhm.
are precedent for cases like this that shows not only that they can do this consumptive testing, but they can also go as far as the videotaping and all this and that. But
I just
again,
think it seems like they would be able to have I mean, I see all kinds of movies and stuff, of course, where they have the video and it's outside of the dang room, but or like whenever bad like good cops are really interrogating people, on shows, not like all these people interviewing them, having brunch with them.
right,
um, like they have the one-sided whatever window mirror thing where they can watch in, but they're not visible to the assailant or whatever the hell. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't have
right,
vocabulary words
like
today.
like Law and Order when they get
Yeah, I mean, where
a
they can watch, like the detectives and stuff can watch the interrogation or whatever, but they can't see the other way.
right.
And so basically, kind of like the same thing I think about with cameras. I mean, they don't have to be in there per se, but then again, that could be just their reasoning. Who
Well,
am I to
I
say
really
that?
believe that Judge Boyce is going to order an independent analysis anyway, since it is consumptive,
True.
but because they can't, there is other evidence, Cresha, somewhere that
Yeah.
we don't know
Oh, yeah.
about, where they have plenty of DNA that both sides can test. This is the consumptive. And I really feel like Judge Boyce is going to order that independent analysis, not just because this analyst has asked for it in the motion, but also, I mean, excuse me, in
Just
the
for the state to cover the state's basis. It's integrity, in my
yeah, it
opinion.
is. I think that would, and think about it like this: that is the what is it, the police there, the laboratory,
Record.
yeah, and they don't want all this coming over there. There's going to be, they feel like this is a high profile case, and they're not going to want a bunch of people over there. Why, they've got other cases
And
too.
they haven't. Look at Lori Daybell and Chad Daybell. See how, I mean, it's like the red carpet, and everybody stop. It just goes back to that whole cellmate or whatever of Lori's that said that, we'll see if this is worth $1 million. Well, it's in fact not worth $1 or
Right.
not worth those dollar store glasses that Candace and my friend Jenny pull off. So awesome.
I'm going to be wearing my glasses that
I'll
Candace
wear them
gave
too.
me when I go to the
I
trial.
will too. I got a
Well,
if I have to mask up too, I have one with big old red.
hey, and you can steal them from me too if you want. I'll
Okay,
let you.
we'll
If you,
borrow.
I don't think Candace and my friend Jenny would have their feelings hurt if old KJ lent you Lori's glasses.
Representing, man, making fun of her every day.
Oh, I don't even know if I'll even be able to get into the courtroom. But
You
if
can
I
take
can,
my
I
spot some
get
days, and
there
I'll hug
early.
you when you get back.
I'll
We'll
get
take
there
turns.
earliest I got to get there because the victim's family members obviously are going to get a front row seat. But what I'm
I mean,
saying,
I really don't know how that works. Like, I don't know if I need to call somebody and be,
no,
"Hey,
they
I'm
take
gonna be
care
there."
of you. They know who you are, Crusher. You were there at Lori's arraignment. They know
I
who you
met
are.
I've met Rob and, and staff. I've never met Lindsay or, Rachel, but I
You
will.
met Ray Hermosillo, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. He's the one that told me about See You Next Tuesday.
I'll tell you what, if I could write a book about anyone in this case, it would be Ray Hermosillo.
Right?
If he would say, "Okay, KJ, I'll sit down with you and tell you all my insights of
Man.
what I mean," I
Can
wouldn't
y'all
want
not
a
just
penny.
feel it through the TV when
I
y'all
wouldn't even
watched?
want a penny of the proceeds. I'd donate it all to the family. I'm just saying, Ray Hermosillo. I'm telling y'all, he's the man. He is the man.
Mhm. I mean,
Uh,
God bless his heart. I've recognized his trauma. I see it in them, I'm just, and they wear their brave, what I don't want to say it too much, but they represent. And that means so much. It does. It means the world to me.
yeah. Well,
To meet Rob Wood, even to lock eyes with him. And I met him right when they were deciding on uh, whatever, Summer Shiflett, trying to kick him off the case. There was a day break between the hearings, and me and mom were in Rexburg. And so I went and met him, and I was like, look, Rob, everybody loves you. You have a lot of support. And no matter what, you know, I know, no matter what happens, I know that you have the kids' best interest in your heart. I know that. I can see that. I can feel it. I'm all about that.
yeah.
And
Well, Bo
I got
Peep,
nothing but good.
yeah, Bo Peep and Gloria Fritz and Leanne Ferguson all think Ray Hermosillo is cute. Well, guess what,
He
lady?
is. He is eye candy for sure.
Hey, let me tell you, y'all gonna laugh at me. Y'all know how old KJ is.
Oh,
I
wait, I had a
I
picture of
have
him.
a listen to me. I have a secret crush on Judge Boyce.
It's not so secret, KJ. I was like, because I've, picked on him the way he talks, because he's like,
I got a
but
secret crush on Judge Boyce. I told my husband, I said, honey, I got a secret crush on Judge Boyce. He's like, well, just make sure he knows where the gavel is.
and I can sign off on when you get arrested. When you're no, I
Yeah.
mean, hey, he's kind, and I just, I guess I get a little impatient, and I'm just like, come on, can you make a decision? Can you stop letting pride run over you? That
I'm
kind of
telling
thing.
you. It's got to be high pressure for him, though, because, when he got the okay by the Idaho Supreme Court to continue with the case, he could have said, okay, there's a change of venue. Go ahead, Supreme. He had to talk to them and say, yes, I'd be willing to do this. For the Supreme Court to go ahead and let him stay on the case, he could have put it in someone else, another
This
drug.
is his first real time being a judge. I bet he's like, God dang it, really? Kind of like Rob Wood. He was brand new, pretty much. If y'all have seen the very first video of him, and they all are, clean cut, then you go back and they're all beards, and I'm just like, what the hell?
Right. What gets me, and maybe you can answer this, Cresha, or someone on here, why would a defense attorney want to take only Rob Wood and Rachel Smith off and not even consider Lindsay Blake?
It has to be, I mean, from what I would think, it's just something personal. And I guess because of the way Rob Wood or Mark Means alleged that Rob Wood cut him down and talked about people peeing in their pants because they were scared, that kind of stuff. I
Yeah, but
mean, just speaking truth
Rachel Smith didn't say nothing to nobody. What is it?
that
Because
we
she's
know
from
of.
Missouri.
We don't know if it's on record or off record, or I have no idea.
Rachel
Uh,
Smith from Missouri, and they don't want nobody from Missouri over there. I mean, come on, y'all.
they like Missouri. No, that's a joke.
In
But
Missouri, show me state, I think. In Missouri, the show me state, or is that a different state?
it's where Autumn on Diamond is going to take place. And I can say that because of we used to have somebody, I haven't seen her in a while, Jenny. Oh, it was a long, long name. Jenny Anderson, then it changed into different things. But she wrote it. I think it was her. And it was Autumn Ondai Amen. I was like, oh my God. I've had to pull it up sometimes from my phone and just be like, okay. I just want to say it right, But that's Jackson.
I'll tell you someone who says it right. Sam Willis says, I think the motion to remove them was actually filed before Blake was hired.
Probably.
Yeah,
Ink was not dry.
and then Lisa discovers says slimeball defense attorneys are a dime a dozen. Boyce is used to the crazy.
True that, right?
I'll tell you what, when I got on there today, Christian, it was within minutes of getting those documents that you gave me.
Yeah, you were talking about something else, and I was like, okay, but did you get the documents? But did you like? I kept saying it, and then
And as soon as I got on there, I had already formulated what they were about in my own mind. But as I went through there, everybody started calming me down about everything, and I thought, okay, especially Tina Reddington and a few others on there had really just kind of said, okay, KJ, this is what it's about, basically telling me to calm
I
down.
can't do it in 250 characters or less. I cannot. It's impossible. And I write freaking books. And
Oh,
I was just streamlining until that one person. I was like, y'all know I do not entertain that crap. I try my best. I've been through all this, all the groups and the discussions, and I still do. But talking about difficult things, right? But I've always just say, no, don't entertain him, and entertain it, or I go to entertain it and I run out of character limit because it's really not even about them. It's just about me getting it off my chest. Whatever I'm angry about, whatever is on my mind, I've copied and pasted so many reply backs or email backs or whatever, sometimes text. I mean, I'm just like, okay, none of that is necessary. Copy paste and I put it away. There's so many of those to go back and look at. I crack myself up sometimes when I run across them. I'm like, oh God, okay, that's where you made a story out of it. And that's where you were really pissed off right there. It's been a way for me to deal with my grief also,
well, I'm
because I
proud.
don't entertain people like that. And I mean, it wasn't snarky. She was just snarky. It was snarky, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. Caught me on the wrong day. Straw was a breaking. So I mean, it is what it is. I didn't. I was just like, f off, I can't believe me. That's when I say things to the point. You don't have to get a whole long paragraph. Just f off. You know.
Let me just ask you this, and the way that I'm going to ask you this might, I hope this doesn't hurt you or bother you, but just think about it like this, okay? What do you think of the fact that JJ's DNA was left for the state to find ways to prosecute
I
this?
knew it.
It's
Okay, you ain't
almost
got to
like
finish that question. I already know. I knew that. I know that I'm cut from the same cloth. He's my nephew. This is my nephew. And I know he was a big boy. I'm 5'3". I'm short and stout. But anyways, and he was like 7, right? And he was like up to, here on me. And so that's pretty. He was tall. He was stout. Um, Built like a brick house, like his aunt. No, but I mean, he was not a little boy by no means. Like, I mean, he has the tray hand feet, the tray hand hands, like that's just something that runs on my brother's side, that side of the family. Um, but I knew, I mean, in my heart of hearts, I knew he's a fighter, just like me, just like him. And I know that he fought his way all the way to the end. And I know that Tylee too.
I
And I
believe
just knew with the duct tape and all the extraism that comes with this, and her and them, Lori and friends, whatever that shit mess. I knew there's hair. Duct tape, I mean, I've ripped my lip skin off before. I'm like, oh crap, like, because I'll do it with my teeth, which was a good point brought up earlier in your live stream.
It
Tearing it with your teeth, because
just
that's
know,
hard to
just
tear.
knowing part of him is going to help put Chad and Lori away from.
Just Tylee, I feel the same. They're not done. They're not. Their stories are not finished. They're not even told yet. We just keep reiterating some factual things, some sentimental things, but this is where their story gets to be told also. And I'm realizing that as I say it. I didn't even know. As I say that, I'm realizing that that is the rest of the story. And
Jay,
it's not going to stop there.
right. JJ is speaking from the other side. Tylee
Charles did. Charles does. Tammy. I mean, come
are demanding justice, and I have faith the prosecution will not let them down, says Cat Shark One. I'm telling you, Cresha, to know that they have this is just consumptive DNA. In other
on.
words, just little bits that they
There's
there's got to be a lot. There's got to be a lot that they
there's
can.
the digital. There's everything. Plus the crap that they talked about, the text messages we haven't seen, the surveillance, the cameras. Yeah, I've read so many stories from the beginning. I did a video that I just need to put out there. It's real me trying to read, and then like I flipped the page and I'm like, oh, well, that page is missing. So I just kept on going, and I'm like, well, do I publish it? And just screw it. Yes, I am. I'm gonna publish it because just reading one or two stories like that per video, it really does. Just remind you of the stuff they have. Wow. It's to me, it's
I know, but
reassuring.
DNA will slam the hammer down on these dang a-holes
Yep.
quicker than you
So
can bake
does
fried
so
egg
does
in a
the
pan.
print of the trash bags. It's like its own thing. Don't murder people these days. How about that? That's one thing I have learned through all this. I'm like, "Dang, you ain't getting away with it. No way. Just stop." And I would freak out trying to look over my shoulders constantly. Like, it ain't worth it. Just divorce. Go marry you somebody younger or whatever. Just go. Go on. Go to work. Make
Well,
your own damn money on your own merit. Don't hold your kids over anybody's head or your grandkids. It's just quit complicating stuff.
and then Andrea says, you are, Cresha, you are the voice for them and this platform. And I could not agree more.
So, thank you. That's what I wanted to really set. Thank you for that. I wanted to humanize them. There were people when I posted the bus video of JJ and Popo, that didn't go viral. you know, um, it has gone viral, um, and it's such a beautiful memory that I got to capture. I mean, I'm very blessed for that because that was the last time I saw my nephew. My mom was gone. She was helping Uncle Charles move from Arizona to Houston, and we partied. We were wild, and JJ was wild, and the kids were wild, and everybody was just wild, and we just had fun. It was fun. I look back on that and I treasure that time with him. It was very short, but it was all about the quality, not the quantity. In this, since we're talking about consumptive and all that
Yeah,
crap,
well,
jazz.
I'll tell you this right now. When I went on your channel and looked at all of the different categories and the many different videos of everything that you've put together,
Oh
you
no!
can
Oh,
almost get lost in the abyss of this case with all the stuff that you've got in there. It's like I could probably go days just continuously
oh, that's just what I
watching
have
it.
public. That is just what I have public. Um, yeah. And y'all, I thought about it because this is just the way my brain works. And I might still. There was a January 1st, well, December 31st, 2018. And my son was turning 20 or 19, 20. I don't remember. 19. And January 1st. of 2019, and we were me, Uncle Charles, JJ. We were all in Lafayette at my Uncle Bobby's house, and it was my first time being reunited with my son after 6 years of being estranged from him via parental alienation. 6 years. As JJ was born into the world, Zach, my son, went off to his dad's and just kind of never came back. And that was a crazy, crazy period for me, and I mean, just for us, period. And just as Zach was coming back in the picture, per se, JJ was on his way out. Didn't know it, didn't know it either way. And I'm grateful that my son and his little cousin JJ got to take a picture. I have a picture of them together, and I have this video that Jason took. I was lighting Zach's birthday candles, and JJ, in the video, he's like following me. Like, I'm like, come on, kids, I'm being all bossy or whatever. And or leadership skills, I'm sorry. And he was just following behind me like a little duck, and I was like, oh, I didn't notice it then. But I look back and I see that. And in that video, there's all kinds of stuff on the table where we were at because we were outside my Uncle Bobby's in his shop. It's a shop table, whatever. There's random stuff on it. And JJ says in that video, this is 9 months before his death, and he says, duct tape, duct tape. There was duct tape on the table. And when I was starting to learn how to edit videos, you have to go over them so many times, just, trying to get it right. And I really sucked back then. So
that just feel right up my spine.
I almost was like, I even said it to Jason. I was like, you think I should start the light? Ow, I hate when you have pains like right in your ribcage. Weird. I told Jason, I said, I wonder if I should start the live stream like that with him saying duct tape, because that's exactly what I think of. And people that have gone to watch it, and pick up on it, they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, right? How crazy is that? Wow. We didn't know that this freight train was coming right for our family.
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, if there is any way possible, if they found a ridge of a fingerprint on a piece of, just one ridge of a fingerprint, and it wasn't big enough for them to get the fingerprint off, like it says in this motion, there's got to be other fingerprints, and whoever put the fingerprint on there is going down.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I feel like that's already set in stone to me. Now it's just working through this part, which is going to be the hardest, worst part.
Everything that the state does in terms of their motions, they go to the defense attorneys, and the defense attorneys have to show their clients. Lori and Chad are getting to see.
Chad's been looking at all this. Yeah.
That they're going to, what do you think Chad's going to be thinking when he finds out that pickaxe and that shovel,
he knew
his barn has his DNA on it?
That's something that his egotistical ASS, put on himself. Because, I mean, what moron would do that? Never mind. Don't answer that. It's a rhetorical question. I mean, they're not smart. They are dramatic and over the freaking top extreme, but they are not smart.
No, they're not. And I'll tell you, those spots on the handle, I hope that it is blood DNA. I hope it's not like sweat, because then Chad could say, well, I used that
when we were having loin fire. My loins got fired up and I got sweaty. Gross. And, his wife was right there. That's Tammy. Right there. And there were kids buried in their backyard. The gall, the balls, whatever you want to call it, the nerve. It's disgusting. And I mean, that ego, it's going down. It's the
only word you can use. Disgusting's the only word you can use. And poor Tammy, she ended up dead.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, this presumptive test leads us to see, a consumptive test of these small DNA samples, the ones that can't be shared with the defense, that the state is trying to get through. It gives us we're able to see the duct tape, we're able to see the pickaxe, the shovel, other tape,
What did they
root
do?
hairs.
I
We're,
didn't think this is, and I'm sorry. I have to. I wanted to say this.
go
I
ahead.
just it keeps bringing things. Like I'm like, okay. Never did I ever. Does the let's see, how do I word this? The tools with the DNA on it. Does that have to do with JJ or anything for any of the like JJ, Tylee, Tammy, or because in my mind, how this went down is just that they like either poisoned him, drugged him, and smothered or snuffed. You know what I mean? Just or broke his neck. I don't know.
I
I
don't.
just so many different things have gone. Never was it like a bloody thing for me. I didn't know he. I don't know. I still don't know if he has wounds. I just know that it's just not how that one plays out in my head. What
Well, I tell
I
you
have
this,
to
them
imagine, right?
using, yeah, them using that duct tape on him preserved him, and that's a godsend. And I guarantee you that they know his cause of death. They'll never find out about Tylee's, but
I
with
I
but
pray so. I
they
pray. I mean, that's all we could do is
the
just
only
hope
thing
for the
that can be proven of Tylee is the atrocious and the utter lack of life in the aggravating factors for the death penalty case. And Big E is saying right here, makes you
I
wonder what
see.
else was burned in the pit.
Yeah, yeah,
They didn't burn.
yeah.
They didn't get that green bucket burned up. Now, did they?
Right. That is something that stands out with you. You've always referenced that green bucket.
I'd like
Green
to take
bucket is
green bucket.
a
I'd love to
focal
take
point.
a new green bucket, two of them, and go up to Chad and Lori and put it on their head. Tape. Nah, just forget it.
And take a bulldozer and then go retrieve the bucket.
I
Yeah, we
mean,
can do it. We can fill it out with our imaginations. Trust me. I've seen some comments over the years, and I get it. I get it. And everybody has that right. Everybody, if you're not pissed off, then I'm like looking at you like, what? This should piss you off. And it does, and it has. And so that's just goes to show you just how this works. I mean, couldn't do this without you guys. If it wouldn't have grabbed your attention, I've always been interested in that. What got your attention? What grabbed you? What moment was it? I always love to hear that from people. Um, and because I know that people all have, they feel these, they're compassionate, they're empathetic. And so they lock on, they latch on and they can see themselves or past experiences in these stories because it covers every damn thing. I mean, that it is what it is. It covers everything. There's nothing that's left out that I know of, uh, unless you're being real specific, but vaguely, it includes everything. And you're just like, I've studied philosophy, psychology, um, tech, um, just how to, you know, try to start a nonprofit, all these different things I have, and I still do. I still go and I'm like, oh, well, I need to learn how to do that. I go to the hard
it'll all come
of
together.
YouTube.
Will. I am
And
very interested though in Big E's reaction. I'd love to know what he thinks about it. I know he's had time to look at these documents and just I know he said earlier that
it
his heart
hurts.
dropped, but I just would like to pick his brain because he's just so level-headed about everything. And I get, a little bent and I'm an emotional creature
Me too.
and I sometimes I don't see the forest through the trees. And which, by the way, it just seems to me surreal that a victim's family member, as you are, Crescia, can be so strong and be able to talk about this stuff. When I think about my brother's murder, there is no way I could have got on YouTube or anything and talked to anybody. I'm just too much of a wuss about,
Yeah.
that stuff. But I would like to know what he thinks, and maybe he will do a live, or he'll do a video, or he'll come on here, or
Yeah, I wish he would. I wish he would. Oh, like he'll do it in his time, though. Eric. I've never been one to really push him. I respect his way of doing things, but I see so much in him and his, into what he does, what he was doing before we came along, before Tylee, JJ, Charles, Tammy, and Joe came along, and then we. He was already advocating for victims and children and women and men, all alike. And I just happened to make a funny, on accident, iMovie trailer or whatever, a 1 minute or whatever video, and it was pretty gory. Mom was like, "Good God, that's pretty dark." And I was like, "Well, it's murder. Murder is not pretty." And at the end of it, it shows like movie credits, and so I filled them in. I put like Zalema the Dilemma. I made up all kinds of stuff, and I was like, and I put it just like this. I put Alex Cox sucker. Anyways, just not one word, just whatever. And I remember Eric. I don't remember how he got it or how whatever, but he asked if he could share it, and I was like on Twitter, and I was like, sure. I don't even know how Twitter works, still, really, and that's where that kicked off. And then after that, it was Gigi and Pretty Lies and Alibis and Fruit Loop, and it just I didn't know how I was going to do this. I just knew that God would put the right people in my life, in my path, as He has, and He assembles this. I'm just here, just trying to make the best out of this, out of myself. I've learned so much. Breaking crime with Big E. Oh, I was a mess when I got them this morning, KJ. I sat on them for 2 hours and spoke with others before I put them out. It sucks.
I'll tell
I
you what,
appreciate you, dude.
you came out with the other documents as well before these, and I never saw them posted on your YouTube. I did the one about Judge Boyce denying the defense wanting to take Rob Wood and Rachel Smith off the case, but I just feel like you're a real strength in this case, not just because you were able to get these documents, but because of your voice.
You
Well,
show it. You show it.
You're going to think I'm being silly here,
No.
but I miss hearing your voice. I miss, you being more regular about things, but that's just me. You know how I get. I'm a little
Yeah.
weird, but
No, you're not. It's just we're creatures of habit. Um, and a lot of times I'm not able to really talk to everybody. And so I just I go in the moment. And so, how do I say it? Like I didn't offer it, but he's an admin. He just doesn't know that he can bippity boppity pop in whenever. That's what I just assumed. I assumed that like Jen does. She'll just pop in. Kathy can do it. She's an admin, and so is Eric. And so I just for the longest time I'm just like, oh, okay, But then I realized that I don't know. So
Indian,
again, we're all just dealing, processing.
Indian
And
Paintbrush says things will become clear for Crescia when the time is right. Trust in the process.
it's a Polaroid picture, and I've been doing this for 3 years.
And
No,
Anna Brown says, I know they release a lot of information, but I think they're holding back a lot that will come out in the trial. I pray they have the evidence that will put them under the jail.
Yep.
I think that's the consensus there, Anna Brown. And thank
Yep.
you, Indian Paintbrush, for your comments and all of y'all's comments.
Hashtag. That's my merch.
Oh, there you go.
I have so many
And
ideas. It's unreal. So
Andrea, how could you, Andrea? You said what
I love it.
OKJ. You said what OKJ wanted to say, Andrea.
That's what drew Eric in. I put that on the end of my thing, and
Oh
then
Lord, okie dokies, stepping up the game here.
okay, dokie. Wait, what?
Th- Thank you, okie dokie.
Hold on. Okay. Now I see. Thank you, dokie. That's good. Gosh, that's quite. I'm back. Oh my god. Thank you, okie
I
dokie,
don't know who's
for
going to.
all your
I
donations.
hope somebody's keeping track of the art. Kathy, you better be keeping track
Uh,
of who made the biggest donation on here, because it's going to have to be between you, Kathy, and Crescia to try to figure out how we can get this person their art, because OKJ flies under the radar. But I'm
Actually,
a big,
I'll throw this in too, and this is
I'm,
something
I'm a
that.
woman of my word.
Um, Go ahead and talk for a second. It's right here somewhere. I just want to make sure. I don't want to be a stuck up person. But this was something that I've had for a very long time. And whenever I see Annie, I'm going to hand it to her. But there's a couple of, like just sketches and stuff,
Wow.
doodle things. And
You
it's,
did
it's
that?
Tylee. It's Tylee and Visaya, her friend
Are
Visaya.
you, are you kidding?
And no, I'm not kidding. And it says like this one right here says 2K16 Tylee and Visaya bucket list. A bucket list.
Are you,
You
you
see what I'm
kidding?
saying? And it says rules, and it says number one, must do all on the list. Number two, at least one per day. I mean, they don't. Well, I need to sketch that right there because I see some writing that was from the page before. Anyways, number three, must take pictures or they don't count. Right? Tylee was fact driven too. Number four, we must both complete all the bucket list. Number five, only us, no outside parties. And so there's that. I mean, it's just these little things, that are really
Yeah.
cool.
When
And
I did that book review on Leah Soddle, she had a large amount of stuff in there about Vaisia. And it
Visaya.
oh,
It took
Vi,
me forever to learn her
how you say
name.
her name, Vaisia?
Visaya. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
I've been
that's
saying
how
her
my mama
name
said it.
wrong the whole time. Nobody's
It's
correct.
okay.
Everybody wants me to make an ass of myself, I guess.
No, I
Vi,
mean
how do you say it again?
Visaya.
Vaisia. Vaisia.
Her
Vaisia.
mom is Echo Lloyd, right? Echo. Okay, Eric's backstage. Let me bring him up.
Oh, good.
Hey,
What's up?
look, he's a genie.
There he is. Thank
What's
you.
up, KJ? Hi,
I'm
chat.
doing good. I'm glad you're here. I hadn't heard. I mean, I know you and Jen had went on the last live stream with Crescia, and I tried to get all. I think I got through. What was it, 2 hours of it? But I'm so glad you're here, because I wanted you to just honestly tell us. Just tell us when you actually did let it sink in, not the initial shock of it, but once you understood what it was all about. What do you got to say about all that? Do you know?
Um, well, what got me was, see, we've seen this doc before, but it didn't go into the detail that this one did.
Who'd
With
you
this,
think it was, though, E?
who did I think it
Did you
was?
think it pertained to Tylee or JJ back in the day? Like when all this, remember how it came
Oh,
out
I
before?
thought, I thought, Tylee for sure. I thought, I mean, I don't know why, but
All right.
because there wouldn't be any duct tape on her, I guess. But for whatever reason, I just had, you know,
Yeah.
um, dismemberment. That's just
Yeah.
what's on was on my brain.
Right.
And this document today, or documents, wow, I just I got them at 9:02 this morning. I wasn't even woke up yet. I got them at 9:02 this morning, and I opened it up, and I was blown away. I mean, blown away because of the detail.
Right. Not
We had
expecting it.
no, no. I mean,
You're
when
just
they
like,
start
what?
talking about his hand and, um, the
Yeah.
shovel and the pickaxe. I mean,
You start picturing things. I mean, that's blah, 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 blah. Even
yeah,
though I didn't see it, I see it. You know,
right. And you can't
I
unsee
picture
it.
it. You picture it, and then it's gonna go down a different way in court.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
okay, 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 okay.
And
Yeah.
it was just, it was heartbreaking, KJ. It was heartbreaking. When it, at first I was in shock, I guess, and then as the day progressed, and I've been digging through the old documents, looking for the ones prior to this one, and as it kept settling in more and more, it
Mhm.
just turned to heartbreak. I mean, and anger. There's you want to throat punch somebody. I won't lie. Um, I mean,
Yeah, it's hard.
Cresha, you know that Larry and Kay is aware of this. They
I
have to
don't,
be.
I don't know because I didn't
I'm not
ask.
asking you, but I'm not asking you if you know. I'm saying they have to know though.
I don't know. I
Don't
know
they?
that when me and mom went to Rexburg, when in 2021 January, we didn't know then, none of us for sure. So, and that's I don't ask. Is I've just always had that kind of relationship with my parents, with anybody. I just if they don't offer this, I didn't ask Uncle Charles what was going on. When they were in, I noticed they were coming in a lot, and I was just like, oh well, I'm just going to be selfish and enjoy it. But I mean, you kind of feel like something's off, but I just don't want to pry. Now I dig. I'm a digger, obviously, because I research the crap out of everything to do with the what makes this. What can ever what can I learn that'll prevent this or help put bumpers in, um, act as a safety net for somebody else so that nobody else has to do this. I know it's not gonna save the world. It's not gonna, but it may prevent somebody, something. It even, I mean, no matter, even if it has nothing to do with that part of it, just if it helps somebody to mend a relationship or be appreciative of what you have, because you never know. I don't want people to learn the way I have in this situation. Although I couldn't, I know that I couldn't stop it. Nobody else could have. I mean, there's just so many things that failed them that just need so they need to be paid attention to. They need to be changed. They need to be looked at, and they need to be steadily updated. And we all grow, right? We're all supposed to grow, and learn from our mistakes and do better. And I've checked, like with the Chandler Police Department, I have gone back and checked over their stuff, to see what they're implementing or not, or see if they're changing just on the public level. I don't know what's behind there. I've never done this before, so and it's a lot to take care of with just being one person. So I do check. I do hope, and that there's also things that I would like to really be a voice for and throw into action as far as like mental health issues, and police responding to domestic calls with the domestic, calls and the mental health thing. I feel like a professional should be in that ride along also. That's just me. I know that there's other people that are already advocating for this and already trying. uh, Strengthen numbers. Knowledge is power. That's all I can do.
Big
So
E, Big E, when
yeah.
you see this motion with this DNA stuff, does it give you any insight on what could possibly be the evidence that could be tested for DNA analysis that both sides could get? Does this give you any insight at all past these items of DNA evidence? Does it help you to at all? Because I feel like if we really stop and think about it, there has to be, if you look at this small list here, which are really big items if you think about it, what do you think? What do you think of whether the evidence that they do have that both sides can have a shot at, or whatever you want to call it, does it enlighten you at all?
Well, like a one thing that I want to say, I just answered the question of Saudi in chat because they asked about the with it being the consumptive, such a small amount. I kind of lean the other way just a little bit, meaning I feel like if they had gobs and gobs and gobs of DNA evidence, I'm not real sure they'd be worried about spots on a shovel handle or
Oh, what if it's just her with that, or somebody somebody specific, right?
Oh Lord, I don't want to hear this, but he makes so much sense.
I know. I
But
just tried
that's
to.
what freaked me out at first before it all settled in. I thought, what if this is the consumptive tests here? What if this is like the bulk of their DNA evidence?
I doubt
let's
it. Come
let's
on,
hope
look
not.
at how
Uh,
Tylee was.
let's hope
No,
not.
ain't no way. Nope.
And I don't think there is. When I was listening, I had to watch your live after it was over because I was doing something. But you mentioned that there was a spot in one of the apartments. Well, that spot was in Lori's apartment,
Three, right?
and it might have been three. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If you remember, they didn't even know about those spots until somebody else had moved into her apartment. So, not real sure how well they'll play into it, if at all, because they had to go back months later to test them.
Read the comment right there that Zero put.
Okay, one second.
No, well, I'm sorry. If that duct tape has super clean cuts, I think it would be Lori's scissors. Nothing is sharper. It's a good point. Just saying. And then she gifted the scissors to her sister-in-law, Zolima.
Okay.
Turns
Yeah,
out she's in a dilemma.
Well, I'd heard earlier, I forgot who it was, but they know who they are, where they said that in a unrelated case, they were able to trace the duct tape back to. They were able to look at the duct tape,
Yeah.
tell where it was
oh
made.
yeah,
Yeah, they can do that with the bags too. They have their own special footprint, their own special fingerprint, if you will.
absolutely.
The way they print them, the way that's the duct tape, that's the trash bags, because there are two. Um, there's that blanket.
They can
There's
track
all that.
all that stuff right back to the store it was bought at.
They can, yeah, and then pin. They might already have the surveillance camera of them buying it, or the receipt,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
or the credit card. I have no idea.
Are you talking about the blue blanket that was found on JJ?
Yeah.
Now, do you really think Chad or Alex would have stuck a blue blanket on
No.
JJ?
I mean, unless it was just to cover him, and I'm just having to say something I don't really want to, but it is what it is to cover him. I don't know who all went to the burial ground. I don't know. David Warwick, his story is different than Melanie Phibb. I don't trust the two. I feel like they participated. That's not going to happen, and you not know nothing. David maybe because he can't hear shit, but Melanie, she's too stupid. She's like, what? I thought you were talking to me. I just don't know. And she plays really, really naive, but she is far freaking from it. She
oh
is knee deep in this stuff, and they're getting back together, y'all. I
yeah.
watch them all the time. I watch. I know that sounds creepy, but I do. And you would too.
Well,
Because I keep my eyes on them at
heard,
all
had no
times.
hair. Nobody has heard anything. You would think somebody have
Uh-huh.
seen, for
Is she
instance, Melanie P and Ian leaving their house, or Melanie Gibb and David Warwick going back to church, or something. We have not heard
They
nothing.
went to a whole Preparing a People conference or
Did they?
Firm Foundation conference that Saturday, that weekend. That's why I get all pissed off and bent out of shape when they have these conferences. They had it the year after, and I'm like, why on a Thursday? The 1 year anniversary of JJ's death, I think. I don't know if it's the 22nd or the 23rd. I'm assuming it's the 22nd or early morning 23rd. I don't know yet. But these people, they were never held accountable. They're like, okay, they dug down, they hid in the cavity of all the rocks, and until they could rebrand it, and here they are. They're right back at it. They've been at it. They never stopped because
They
they've
never
never been held accountable. They've
stopped.
never been reprimanded. They've never been called out. They've never been persecuted enough, in my opinion. Sorry.
I agree, 100.
Big E, they talk about the pickaxe and the shovel, but what bothers me, and maybe it isn't, maybe they have other implements, if you know what I'm talking about, of dismembering a body that does have enough for both sides. But it just seems to me that
It's a conspiracy.
they're not, they didn't state it in this evidence that, and it couldn't have been just a pickaxe and a shovel that did what they did to Tylee.
No,
It's a conspiracy, though. They all go down. One goes down, they all go down. Right?
Right.
Okay.
But right now, all only consists of Cam and Lori. That's the bad thing about it.
How?
Nobody
They're
else.
not all charged with conspiracy?
No.
Where am I?
Oh, the state of Idaho's too busy giving out use immunity and all kind of crazy shit.
Yeah. There you go.
Got it.
I think we were talking about two different things, Crash. I was talking about Melanie Gibb, Zalema,
Oh, yeah.
Melanie Pulowski.
I will pull something up, y'all, that I ran across from whenever they had that Vallow-Daybell channel. Remember the YouTube channel, Vallow-Daybell? Yeah, I'm going to go grab that real quick. Y'all go ahead and talk, but I'm just letting you know what I'm going to do.
KJ, I think, and I'm just guessing like everybody else, but I think the big thing with the pickaxe and the shovel, I think that was
Just
more to do with just digging the grave. I don't think that either of them was, to do anything to the kids. Now, I don't know that. I'm just strictly just guessing.
Well, let me tell you what's possible. What's possible is they put Tylee whole, and I'm sorry, I got to say it.
Say it.
They put her whole on the fire, and as she burned, they took the pickaxe and the shovel and started breaking her apart. Now, I'm sorry, that's possible.
Oh, it's absolutely possible. It's absolutely possible.
For her to end up where they take her flesh at the end and stick it in a melted green, they put it in the bucket thinking it's, someone said earlier, why didn't the bucket melt? Well, that flesh was in there, and that's not easy to, I don't know. It was maybe out of laziness, just let's scrape the rest of this out of here and put it in the pet cemetery.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. No, I've never done it, so I can't, tell you for sure. But everybody who has done it, or if you watch one of the TV shows and what they say, dismembering a body is just,
it's a
grunt
work.
It is grunt work, and they say it takes forever.
Right. Okay. Do y'all see the screen?
Police body cam responding to Zalema's.
Now see right here where it says Vallow-Daybell?
Yeah.
That was that YouTube channel that came out. And this is responding to Zalema's call about Tyson Draper. Okay.
Yeah.
This is theirs. And I watched this channel because I was like, I don't know who the hell this is. It's probably a soccer account. And they probably sent me an email just to F with me because that's what some really sick assholes do. I don't know. They get off on it. Well, I watched them. I learned, I was screen recording, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So, and I scroll and roll while I'm screen recording. So just know that while I play this, I just want y'all to just kind of get the context of when this happened. I don't know. It just was a little enlightening, a little extra nugget, that I forgot about.
That's her daughter, right?
Yeah, Kara. She's in the castings too, y'all, and she's been in the comments. My
Oh,
comments.
When
Get
was
ready
this?
for the damn. I don't know. They posted this on May 23rd, 2021. This was Tyson Draper. You'll tell whenever she starts talking. When Zalema starts talking, she'll give it context.
oh yeah.
Come on, Hooker.
Well, probably the body cam hasn't kicked in yet, has it? The audio.
No, it's playing. It's playing. It's just the audio. You know when it does, it's gonna go. So
Yeah.
just get
Beep,
ready.
beep.
Trigger warning. hmm Oh, come on. If I scoot it, it's gonna be like, or is it not playing sound? Oh, okay.
The
Hello.
sound.
Oh my goodness. I didn't. I had it muted. My
Second
bad.
time they've been out here.
Okay.
So, John Wick, you haven't been told to like stop or anything as far as for harassment. There's a statute under harassment where it's surveilling. This is the second time that he's been out here.
It is the second time and the third time that he has had contact because he called me on the phone the first time and I told him that I wasn't interested, that I didn't want to talk to him.
Okay. Do you know who he is, like his name or anything like that?
Yeah, he's a YouTuber.
Okay. Draper? Okay.
Tyson Draper. He has a YouTube channel. And he called me and asked me if I wanted to have an interview with him, and I told him no.
Okay.
And I said I don't want to have any conversations with you.
Okay.
And then I have one. When I didn't have one, I just said thanks for calling, but not interested, and I don't want to have any conversation with you. I blocked his number, and then the following week he showed up over here. He followed my daughter to her car, and our lawyers have told us not to say anything.
Bam.
Because we do have a meeting with the investigators for the case, probably in the next week or two. They're coming up and down from Rexburg.
Okay.
And those conversations need to happen between the prosecutors, my lawyers, and us. So, we're supposed to this is the way that the lawyer said, just don't say anything because you need to have this conversation with, with the prosecutors. So, he followed her to her car. She tried to just leave her alone, and he wouldn't. He just, followed her all the way to her car with the camera.
Bombarding her with questions, and she couldn't get a word in.
And who's your daughter? Is that you? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then today he showed up over here. He has this sign, and he's yelling and screaming, saying, Sulam is a murderer.
Okay.
And then he stopped, one of the neighbors stopped over there and started talking to him, and, he's telling her, that I'm a murderer.
Okay.
He's telling the whole thing. So, to me, that's harassment. I'm sorry. That just doesn't come any clearer than that. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a hold of my lawyer, but my lawyer's not answering my call right now.
So what, and I'm sorry, what's your first and last name?
Bitch.
My first name is Suleiman. That's Z-U-L-E-M.
Volcano woman.
And
I can't react to these because I will never shut up. But listen to Kara's.
Okay, and your. And what's your name?
My name?
Yeah, full.
Kara, C-A-R-A. Onofrighton, O-N-O-F-R-Y-T-O-N.
On a Freighton. So, anyways, there's that little nugget. I ran across that and I was like, okay, so this is right whenever they were going, Rexburg police were coming in. And that's when you have Zalema and the interviews, with them. Melanie Gibb, the ones that came from Chandler.
Yeah, Melanie Gibb and Zulema are at odds with each other.
Who? Melanie Gibb. Yeah, it's the pissing contest.
That was definitely.
Yeah. I feel like, reading through the docs and everything that, again, Eric made possible, he, paid for them and everything, and he had just opened it up for me to where I can access them anytime I want. I rarely, I've combed through them, but just I kind of go back and check things now. That's what I've done since. And but it just also seems like every time you read through them, you pick something else up. You always connect something else, knowing what I know now versus what I know then. And this goes for everybody. It puts that puzzle together a little more, a little more, a little more every time. And it's
Is this posted on your channel?
no, that's just a video I'd ran across in my Google Photos.
Okay.
That I forget I even have. I have stuff from the very beginning. Like I was running through it today before we went live. I was like, oh my God, I forget. I have all these pristine, good screenshots, of the date and just all these telling things. And even if I just read them out loud, that's what I've started to do. I set out to do is just make some short 5 to 10 minute, 15-minute top videos, just to kind of pick up the pieces a little more, because it really does bring it together. I had something set out, and it had to do with Melanie and Ian, and it was with Brandon and Melanie Pulowski's divorce. And I don't have it referenced right this second. Like, it would take me a second to find it, but I wanted to read it. But I might just go ahead and just do that in my little short vids, But it just puts things into context.
It really does. The more
There's so many nuggets.
Yeah, the more information you have, even if it seems like, well, why are we talking about this or this or that? If it has to do with the case, if it has anything at all to do with it, it fills in that mosaic. It fills in that environmental view of everything.
Yep. And like, I have these screenshots from Facebook from this lady. I don't even know her name because I don't have that part of the screenshots, but it's long. And it's a landlord. And she's from Kauai. And I have like 4 or 5 screenshots, and, it's, they're not numbered or anything like that. They're just, me printing stuff back in the day. And like, okay, I have it right here. And so it's not going to really make sense because it's not really in order, but there's nuggets in it. Okay. So I'm going to read it right now, real quick. It's,
Oh, you're fine.
You
don't have to be real quick. It's your show, man.
We want to hear this.
Like, there's not really even a good starting point. Let me see. There's 5 pages or 4 pages. Let's see. I'll just start at the first one. Anyways, it says long time. And then it says, Chad said he had filled out an application online. So when they left, I looked it up, and he only listed himself as the person to rent and his address in Idaho. And his comments were, and she put in quotes, "I'm looking for a quiet, peaceful place to write. I'm an author," end quote. She said, so I went online to see what kind of books he wrote, which struck me as creepy, weird books. And in the process, a post popped up of a Tammy Daybell on her Facebook page, and it was her obituary. Some of her friends had posted there. And I got to reading it. And I got to reading it, and it was Chad's real wife. I thought that was funny. Like his real one, not his fake one.
That's the gal in Hawaii, ain't it?
Yeah. And it said she suddenly passed in her sleep on October 19, 2019 at age 49. I kept checking and checking the year. He was just at my house on November 7th, 2019. A happy camper with this lorry, less than 3 weeks after his wife, perfectly healthy, Tammy, passed in her sleep. The funeral was October 22nd in Utah. A memorial October 23rd in Idaho. And here he was jumping for joy 2 weeks later. This information started taking my breath away and my heart beating faster as it is right now as I'm relaying the story. I take it she's hard of hearing. Thank you, Tracy. Corinne, thank you. I'm sorry. I just happened to look up. Thank you. I wanted to contact someone in Idaho if an autopsy was done. But sorry, but he had her in the ground in 3 days. So I didn't think so. The feeling was so strong. I wanted to get on a plane and go there. But I thought people would think I was nuts. And I can relate with that. You know, trying to talk about somebody else's crazy or explain it. Mm-mm. Anyways, now this is just her. She's ignorant about this. I'm just reading it. I know this because she spells Mormon Morman. Okay. This nice Mormon family in the community married since 1990. I'm having throat issues right now. Okay. And so this is her. She said some Mormons have more than one wife, etc., etc. That's her opinion. Anyways, that's what's written here. My friend Leanne, spelled Liann, stopped by the next day, November 8th, and I told her and showed her, and she felt the same way I did about it. One thing I was absolutely sure of then is that I did not want them in my house when, not if, she wrote it in caps, the police came to get them because I knew, be sure your sin will find you out. And I was positive they had done evil. Little did I know what all they were involved in until almost 3 months later on Saturday evening, January 25th, Leanne texted me and said, "You were right. Check out the news. Chad and Lori are going down." They've exhumed Tammy's body for an autopsy, and well as Lori, oh, wait, I guess, okay, and well as Lori's husband and brother. And Lori's, I don't know, it cut off the top part of the page. Something might help. Also, Monday, since I was in Oahu, I drove an hour to the FBI headquarters to offer them information. After very careful screening, a lady came out with a clipboard and I told her briefly some info. She didn't take any notes, just jotted down a date or two, and then said, "Well, the agent will get a hold of you if he thinks any of this is pertinent." I never got a text from the Rexburg officer. So on Wednesday, I got in my car using the Bluetooth and called them myself. A lady answered and I told her a few things, and she said she would have the officer get back to me. I'm sorry. Then I called back to tell her some more, and she said, "You can tell that to the officer." Well, it is Friday, and no one has gotten back to me at all from Rexburg or the FBI. It seems these people decide before you even tell them what you know that you are not an important person to get info from. I have some text between Chad and I after I discovered the obituary on Tammy that I think tell a lot. I can clearly see why many cases never get solved. I would think that every possible lead would be, I don't know, and I've changed the page so it's chopped off at the top. And sadly, sometimes ignoring possible pertinent information has put innocent people behind bars also. If you want more detailed info about what Chad and Lori are suspected in, Google recent news on Chad Daybell. It's pretty crazy. I would like to send this post to the Rexburg police, but I am computer illiterate. Preach, sister. Maybe someone else can. Lori did not show up in court when she was supposed to bring the kids or tell of their whereabouts. Chad talks a lot about the other side of the veil, where Tammy now is, and Mormons who pass. Anyways, a safe place where they carry on life, much like here. Also, a lot about the dangerous end times, etc. Either Lori's kids are locked up somewhere on Earth. This is compelling, y'all. Or their lives have been snuffed out here. So they are on the other side of the veil also. If that is the case, their bodies are somewhere. Has anyone checked on storage units? Question mark. And then it just shows like, comment, share, at the bottom of it. And I was just like, God dang, I have all these things. And
Was
they
this
do.
was this before the children's bodies were found?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
I don't have a date on this, but I mean, I do have a lot of things in my phone that, didn't have to run through my printer mill process. So it just, to me, I have always, ran across these things. I never really had the time to read them per se when they came out or when I printed them. But I just, would put up hole punches, and not all of them have made it into binders. So this is a good way to get me to file things and read them out loud. And, it's a win-win. So That's what I decided I'm going to start doing. Kind of like what Gigi and them are doing, but I know they're doing it. I know Pretty Lies and Alibis is doing this. This is for me, for my account, for my record. It's just
Yeah, it's my understanding that Pretty Lies and Alibis is doing a whole series from the beginning, right?
yeah. Now they're rehashing a lot that they have already released from from following the case early on, and they're with this mega series or whatever. They are doing all that, rehashing it again, but they're putting in extra things that have transpired that it gives you a more round picture.
Yeah,
It's
it's like filling in the updated material.
Yeah, and just like
Gives
oh
it more context.
yes, and you're like, oh, okay, just think about this. At the same time, this was going on over here.
Right.
It really helps. So I'm gonna do it too. It doesn't hurt. It has never hurt me in this process throughout this entire 3-year ordeal.
And you have to seriously start considering at least the framework and the outline of a future book, Cresha. I'm just telling you, Big E Teller.
I already have. I
Oh,
already
shoot.
that was nowhere on my radar. I'm just, that's not me. I've never been like, oh my God, I cannot wait till I'm 44 and going through some major trauma stuff, and all this stuff. And I'm going to write me a damn book. No. However, things just kind of happen. And everybody in this case, everybody here has their own story to tell, no matter what. And it's going to be different than my mom's, than Larry's, than Colby's, than Annie's. Anybody, everybody has a different point of view, a different way of seeing things, a different way of relating things. This is a healing thing more for me because I don't care about. I just, if I could just maintain and not have to go in the red with how the upkeep of everything, I'm good. If it just maintains, I'll keep doing it. But real life is right there. And it's just like, hey, girl. And I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, real life. But this is my passion. This is, I never knew what I wanted to do. I never knew what I wanted to be. I had no idea. I was 41 when this happened, 41 years old. Still didn't have, like that, a path or whatever. I was always a hard worker. I always, did what I had to do and wasn't scared to get dirty, work in an office, whatever it was. Just never had a direct, clear path, ambition, drive. And this just picked me out. And it's as weird as that is to say, it's never would I want this way. But this is how this cookie is crumbled and crumbling. And it is my life's passion. It is my mission. It is the rest of my story. It is the rest of their story, telling theirs.
And your story,
a way to honor them.
Yeah, your story goes at your own pace. It's not for everyone else. It's for you.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Robin Hood. Thank you.
But Big E, why I've got you on here real quickly, this whole DNA thing. I'm looking at the state's brief real quickly, if you don't mind. I just wanted your thoughts on it. They the brief on why they want to go ahead and do the DNA testing, and you and Crusher both were just saying that y'all had been down this road last year, but it didn't have as much detail.
Right.
And you knew that they had the defense last year had objected to it. It's going to happen now, but the argument is, and I'm looking at it just in summarization, that case law from other jurisdictions and the American Bar Association standards provide persuasive authority for the court to consider in allowing consumptive testing. So the state is telling you where they want the court to look in terms of the guidelines, and that is the American Bar Association and other jurisdictions. But then it talks about, based upon the affidavit from the Idaho State Lab, which was all about, that analyst who talked about, we don't want the video cameras here, and this
Right.
we have. guidance from the ABA and case law from other jurisdictions, the state should be allowed to proceed with consumptive testing. The conclusion being that the state has yet to test any materials that require consumptive testing in good faith. The state now seeks to test those items. If the defendant is unable to present evidence that the materials the state tests would fall within the purview of Brady, and you know that's Brady material. You know what that is, right?
Right. Yeah.
And for all y'all that don't know what Brady material is that stuff that would make Chad or Lori not look guilty or are merely being consumed. The DNA stuff is only going to be consumed in bad faith. The court should grant the state's motion and allow the consumptive testing. Do you think, Big E, that when they quote other jurisdictions and the American Bar Association standards, do you think that's going to be enough for Judge Boyce to say, go for it, state?
I think that they laid out plenty of case law to back up their argument, and it's the state's responsibility to prove guilt. So if they need this consumptive testing done, then they're going to have to let them do it.
And they've been knowing about it, right? So I feel like they've been able to really put their heads together and think about this.
Yeah, right.
If I had to throw them all 2 cents in, that's it.
Well, could you tell me why they didn't go into specificity last year, but they are now going into specificity this year?
Because the investigators on Lori's team are doing their jobs. They're investigating. They're going pluck, 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 pluck. But this has nothing to do with that side, huh? But the state has to turn it over to the defense, right? That's why they're doing it.
Oh yeah, I mean, any evidence, even if it proves they're not guilty, I mean, it's got to be turned over because I don't get a case thrown out quicker than anything is holding back evidence.
Right.
So,
I guess I'm just not clear when they went for this DNA stuff last year and both defenses ejected. They didn't talk about the specificity of, say, for instance, the pickaxe and the shovel, but now they're bringing it out now. But was this the same evidence from last year? They just didn't specify?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
I mean, I'm got the document from one of the documents from last year, KJ. Let me read it to you. It's the state's response to motion to oppose use of and motion to preserve fingerprint samples, motion for photographic recording of serology samples and other visual tests, motion to review lab records. Okay.
But it doesn't say DNA, right?
Huh?
Doesn't say DNA though, does it?
Right? It should say DNA.
I mean,
there was news stories out on it. I mean, that's what I'm trying to find right now.
Is when you say those things that the state wants preserved, that doesn't say DNA materials, does it? I mean, I'm just asking.
No, I'm looking for it. I think you're right.
With serology testing, would that include DNA?
I didn't hear the question I was reading.
I don't know.
What I'm saying is, this is just as simple as I can be. When the defense objected last year, it wasn't because they were objecting to DNA.
Yeah, they were because there was not much of it. Yeah, I remember this coming up before.
It doesn't say in that paperwork that I'll have to look myself.
It doesn't specifically say DNA, but it does talk specifically about consumptively test any materials.
Okay, there you go. All right, there we go. That's what I was waiting on.
It doesn't specifically say DNA, but
okay.
Let me read
but that would only be consumptive. What? You could only say DNA after that, right?
I think it said DNA, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing at all. I'm just trying to figure out why I guess the
No,
only
I get you.
explanation
I
would
mean,
be that the state is now coming out with a new motion, not about the preservation of it, but actually wanting to test it now. So maybe
Yeah,
objecting over the preservation of it, so then it couldn't move forward to be tested. Do you see? And now that they got it preserved because the motion was denied on the defense last year, that we're both saying objection, objection. Now that they've had it this time and Lori is competent now they can come out with more specificity about it actually being consumptive DNA testing. Does
maybe
that?
because they have to, I don't know.
right.
I don't know but yeah, that sounds right to me, like
Well,
what
they
you said.
didn't. One of the reasons, and probably the biggest reason that um, they didn't do the testing back last year was because Lori was at the spa, and her case was stayed, and there wasn't nothing going on. And if they had tested it last year,
It would have been
you know,
gone.
her defense wouldn't have had a say so in it.
Uh, Anthony Estes says serology is blood. That's DNA typing. So y'all are answering questions for me that maybe I'm too
Yeah,
ignorant.
we all do it. We all
And,
help.
yeah, and Tina says unless they were testing stuff for drugs. I mean, there could have been consumptive tests on drugs,
Xanax.
right?
We knew she was all
Okay,
about dosing Xanax.
I did find DNA in it. You want me to read this to you?
Yes.
This was from September 17th of last year.
Okay.
The state of Idaho hereby responds to the defendant's motion to oppose use of and motion to preserve fingerprint samples, motion for photographic recording of serology samples and other visual tests, and motion to review lab records as follows. While the state did initially seek to consumptively test what appears to be material that could possibly contain DNA on tools found in the defendant Chad Daybell's shed and fingerprints for touch DNA on materials found wrapped around JJ. Upon further analysis and for the reasons below, the state will not seek to consumptively test any materials at this time. The defendant, Chad Daybell's wife slash co-conspirator, Lori Vallow-Daybell's case is stayed pending competency proceedings. In the event any materials were to be consumptively tested and Lori Vallow-Daybell did not have the opportunity to be heard regarding that testing, there is a risk she could exclude that evidence from trial, either in a severed trial or in a joint trial. Therefore, until the stay is lifted or trial scheduling necessitates testing, the state will not seek to consumptively test any materials without stipulation from Lori Vallow-Daybell's legal counsel. The defendant, Chad Daybell, sent a specific request for discovery, RE lab testing, to the state on August 24th, 2021. While the state has responded to said request, the state is not yet in possession of the material/data to adequately respond by way of providing further data, material, or objection. Any consumptive testing of material should not take place until the state has the information required to adequately respond to said request. The state does not object to providing the defense with any and all lab records, reports, or documentation in its possession. The state has complied with this request and will continue to comply with this request as any further documentation is provided. The state objects to the defendant's request that the state arrange for the defendant's expert to go directly to any lab testing, such as samples to review, copy, photograph, and document any and all processes, tests, procedures, and testing procedures that will be performed on the fingerprint samples and have been performed to date. The Idaho State Lab does not allow unauthorized personnel inside their laboratory, and such an order would violate the state lab's standard operating procedures. Said procedures are in place to ensure the integrity of the lab's work. Further, the state is unaware of any authority allowing the court to order the state lab to violate its standard operating procedures. The state does not object to the request that all serology, microscopy, or other visual tests be photographed insofar as possible and conducive to the state lab's operating procedures and documented. The state does not object to the defendant's forensic expert being allowed to examine all evidence produced by the state lab in its regular course of examination and testing and according to the lab's policies and procedures. So, does that help any or not?
Yeah, because when Lori was incompetent, it would have made sense for John Pryor to want to push that, because then if he would have gotten his hands on that, then Lori could have had that excluded from either a separate trial or a joint trial, which would have helped Chad.
Exactly.
It would have bippity boppity boo disappeared like everything else.
And it makes sense. I mean, I guess if I would have known, I wouldn't focused in on this, what you just read from last year, I would have been like, come on, let's get on with it. But really, the state did what they should have done.
The state has been doing, they've been looking out for the defense. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. The state has been looking out for the defense because of Mark Means. Now it's not that way anymore.
They don't have to do their job. They don't have to do the job for them,
right?
Like they were having to do.
You got some heavy hitters over there now, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't like to toot their horn too big. I mean, they do their job. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh my god," but they're great. I mean, okay, but I know I do give credit where credit's due. I'm not trying to be salty or nothing. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of people really are like, oh, yeah, like, I'm like, nope, wrong team. But I understand these guys are doing their job. Mark Means it was a little something different, in my opinion. It still probably is.
It absolutely was. It was
that really, Biggie, that really, and Kresha, that sheds a light when you have to think about everything in its totality as it relates to the DNA testing, what has gone on and what's the history of it, in order to be able to put it together to see the actual flow of the adjudication and maneuvering.
Right. Exactly.
I like what Kelly B says here. And she's talking to Zero, because Zero said, sorry. Crap. I know it's not that far back. Oh, Zero had put, I'm shocked they don't have full fingerprints on duct tape. Is that really true? I mean, how do we know that? Or is it just one person, one suspect, one profile, as they put it? And Kelly B says, sadly, at Zero, where'd Eric go? Eric? I didn't do it. Anyways, he'll come back hopefully. At Zero, sadly, it makes me think of Casey Anthony trial when she wrapped her whole baby in duct tape, ? And that piece of shit walked out of those courtroom doors. Crazy. And still alive. That's where I'm like, that can't be. That can't be.
I'm not even going to go there.
Right? It's
I get it, Kelly B. But I also think about all these cases, and I did this victim rights thing on one of my vids, and I've made myself very clear that the victims' family members, they don't get any they get rights technically in Idaho.
I've made my way to this. Like, I found this way as an outlet, and I've pushed my limits as to what I can and cannot say.
Well, and I don't have a problem.
It's
not going to be around forever, but I'll tell you this right now. they've got to do something about victims' rights in all the states. As
We
far
have to do
there
something.
are more rights for these evil, diabolical people than there are the victims and their
Yeah.
families.
And I've printed a lot of these things out, like applications, because I was told before by that support group here in Lake Charles that I wasn't the right relationship. You know, three losses in my family, but I wasn't a grandparent. I wasn't a parent. I was not a brother or sister to the victims. And so I was lost and I didn't realize what happened at that moment. I didn't know that after I looked back, I was like, oh my God, that was rejection as a mofo, right? I mean, didn't even point me to the next friendly advisor, nothing. Didn't give me a pat on the butt.
Hey, Kathy, there's
Nothing.
Kathy. You might want to check the comments, honey. Um,
What's wrong?
but anyway, Big E, do you have any comments on this? The aggravating factors that Archibald's talking about.
Um,
He is saying. Now let me try to put it to you real easily. Because the Rays on my channel, they are so good at summing it up. If I can find it very quick. Diana W said this about it, and I don't know if you even delved into this yet, because I know we're talking about DNA, but we're talking about his motion, Archibald's motion. This was her response. Diana W says, wow, that puts these motions in a different light. With Rachel Smith's years of doing death penalty cases, how could this slip past her? This is beyond some serious shit. Taken from the Idaho's Channel 6 News. Defense attorneys for Lori Vallow filed 3 motions on her behalf this week, including asking that the grand jury indictment be returned for clarification. In the motion, attorneys asked whether it is prudent to continue to seek the death penalty and set the ground for objections when it comes to Lori and Chad's joint trial. The motion also asked the court to strike some of the language in the counts 1 and 3, so the maximum punishment would be imprisonment in the state prison for a term not to exceed 5 years, or by a fine not to exceed $50,000, or both such fine and imprisonment. And we're talking about, there's 3 motions from Archibald. One was about clarification over the charge of conspiracy to commit first degree murder and grand theft by deception. They're saying those need to be split. That's not what I want to focus in on. What I want to focus in on is Archibald is saying that the state did not have the grand jury by Idaho statute and federal constitutional statutes, did not have them separately look at the aggravating factors and decide upon them. And they want it remanded back for that purpose, along with clarification on, why does this charge have 2 separate crimes in it? So it's not just one issue. It's about this whole idea that the state has not done this properly. Do you have any knowledge of this at all?
well, I mean, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. He's pretty good. I mean, he's it's 2 charges is what he's saying, 2 crimes that's being lumped into one, and the way that I understood it is he's it'll confuse the jury. I just opened it up. I had to pull it back up.
Yeah, I get that, because there isn't a remedy, like this is what happens when you commit this crime. You can't say first degree conspiracy of murder with grand theft by deception. That would confuse them. But what I'm saying is Archibald, in one of his other motions, is saying that, you know how you have to have aggravating factors in order to even seek the death penalty, right?
Right. Yeah.
He's saying those have to be decided separate from the charges. And that
What,
wasn't done.
what we have 4 or 5 aggravators. I forget.
And you only have to prove one in the state of Idaho.
Right, but was it 4 or 5?
It was 4.
4. Um, I don't. I mean, it could very well
This
be.
ain't his first rodeo. I mean,
It very well could be a mistake by the
yeah, this.
prosecutors.
Yeah, well, this goes back to what Diana W. was saying, that Rachel Smith has been doing death penalty stuff for years. I don't. This is what worries me. If Archibald's pointing out more than one thing in here, not just a charge that has two crimes in it, but also about this other issue. And then the third motion is, oh, we want y'all to know in this motion that all Idaho statutes, constitutional rights, along with federal rights in their constitution, we want to go ahead in this motion separately of the other two and tell y'all we're asserting all of them. This is scary. This is not good.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Technicality.
mean,
I don't
he,
know.
they either take it back to the grand jury to do it again, or Judge Boyce decides.
Why
Um,
can't they just do a jury trial like normal people? I mean, a jury, like regular. I don't know, without
well,
having a grand
the
indictment.
trial will be, but
Right, but I
I
mean,
mean
why can't they just?
that's
I don't
just
know.
that's just
Don't think
Archibald,
that we.
man. That's Archibald and Thomas. They're gonna punch holes in stuff. And as far as why Rachel missed it, if in fact it turns out that they
It
did
is.
miss it, then I agree with KJ. I mean, that's kind of unacceptable. That's why you were brought here. You were brought here for the death penalty.
Yeah, to not
That's
let that
what
happen.
you brought here. And if it does end up getting kicked back, or to redo it or whatever,
Remand it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If it gets remanded and they have to do it again, which isn't a big deal.
I mean, of course, they
Because,
are going to do all this stuff because, they're going to do it now. There's going to become a point where they can't raise motions, right? This is going to be motion city. We're going to be motion sick.
Yeah, well, they might be, people are saying, and they're correct when they say they have to file the motions, any motions for anything before the trial, because those things have to be on the record even after the trial in order for appeals. But this is not specifically for an appeals issue. This is talking about striking two counts 1 and 3, which is conspiracy to commit first degree murder and grand theft by deception. If they can get that grand theft by deception even taken away, you know what that is? That's an aggravating factor. In other words, i.e., one of the aggravating factors is murdering for money. So there you go, y'all. I'm telling you, maybe I'm getting paranoid. Maybe I'm overboard on it, but I'm just telling you, it doesn't
Yeah,
feel right to me.
you
And
have an
I
eye for detail.
wish the state would hurry up and respond to it so that we could find out what the judge is going to do about this.
When will they do that, Eric? Friday, probably. Right at closing time.
uh,
Yeah, I'm just saying. You know how
that's
they
when
do.
Yeah,
they're
and
good
the state has
about it.
already asked Judge Boyce for a hearing on this DNA stuff that we've gone over tonight, and they haven't responded back and gave them a hearing. So
They normally don't.
I don't know.
They'll put it out probably in like a response to the. I don't know how to talk legally, so let me shut up. They'll probably
But
just.
No, I mean that's what it'll be. It'll be state's response to dot dot dot. I mean,
Yeah,
which is the one they respond to.
not a hearing though, right?
It
Right,
could be. It could
right.
be.
As I said it, I was like, okay,
Jean Panek, they have not given Robin Rowe an execution date, and they've had her over there on death row from
for a long time.
forever. So, I mean, but the only reason it isn't that I believe per se in the death penalty, I'm saying that they only get out of their cell 1 hour a day. I would rather Lori and Chad have that and spend the rest of their life on death row because they're going to go through the appeals process forever than go life in prison where it's not like that for them. That's why I want them on death row. I want them to only get out of their cell 1 hour a day. That's what I want. And if they have to go to the shower or meet with an attorney, they're always got their handcuffs on them. That's just old KJ talking to you.
I started watching Orange is the New Black, y'all. It's just bringing it all back to me, and that's
Somebody told
Showtime.
me that's probably been a month or so ago now. I guess Robin, I guess she's in general population now.
Yeah,
But
she's been in Gen Pop.
is it true that she's wanting to go back on Fourth Road?
Who's in Gen Pop?
Lori. She was not that whole time until she came back, which makes no sense in my mind. You come back from being, your cheese is sliding off your cracker, and you gonna throw her in Gen Pop then, general population then, when she's, she can't find her cheese, and
So
so
Lori's gonna find her
that just threw my
new
mind.
Cinda. Lori's gonna find her new friend Jacinda.
All of them.
Cinda's gonna go, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
She won't even know her name. Because she'll have so many.
I was actually talking about Robin Road, though, Christian.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think
Robinette,
Lori's in General Pop, is she? Like
yes, yeah.
different story than
It
prison.
surprised me because I thought she was there the whole time before she was, deemed incompetent, allegedly.
Okie dokie. I think I hope you live in the States, okie dokie, because I said in terms of the art, it seems you're the one that's been given the most donations to Crescia tonight, and we've got to find some way, okie dokie, by the end of this live stream, unless somebody else lays it on the line there. You have gotten this piece of art from KJ, so somehow, some way, have to get Crescia and Kathy together to figure out how we're going to get this art to you. I've already mailed other art to other people, and I hope that you enjoy it. I really do. Okie dokie, are you in the States?
I think so, from what I
I
remember.
hope so, because I said that at the beginning. I can't ship.
No, I mean, even if so, it's okie dokie, along with everybody else who, I mean, is just habitual. I don't know what other word, habitual. What's another word for continuous? A steady stream of support, moral, emotional, spiritual, monetarily, everything. Y'all are here, and I mean,
For all you've done, Eric, as well. You're the man. I respect you.
One day, I want to be able to have this platform. I want to grow this platform. That's the biggest favor anybody can do from this point on, for sure. I've never been one to, I hate when people are like, click the like button and subscribe and all that. But really, it is the way to grow. It's the way to get into the algorithm. It is, I mean, it's business sense. It's just talking business sense.
Well, every time you have a live stream, I always post your live stream on my community wall.
Thank you.
So I always do. I try to anyway. I might, if I don't know what's coming, I might accidentally forget or not know about it. But I really have done everything I can and will continue to do everything I can. I don't ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do myself.
Same. I mean, same. Yeah. I always throw it forward too. I do.
It's been in the mail, Tina. It's been in the mail for 4 or 5 days, unless you gave me the wrong address. I mailed it. It's already been mailed.
They do have some janky oh my god.
Winner, chicken dinner.
So I don't know why you haven't gotten yours. Oh my gosh, Anna Brown just
oh my gosh. Thank you, Anna or Anna. I don't know how to... Thank you, Miss Brown.
Oh my Lord. Kathy, you're keeping track of this.
Is she in the States?
I mean, Anna? I don't care. I'll go bring it to her. You know?
Before I forget, I wanted to say this. KJ, you need to give Crescia your email so I can email you.
I told Crescia she could give you my phone number and we could text.
What? Oh God, I need writing.
You need to write it down right now, Crescia. Give Big E my number and he can text me.
Okay. Yeah, everybody, and there are 95 people in chat. my witness. Thank you. No,
Just
ma'am. Look,
don't, hey,
I
hey,
was like, I
Eric,
was very skittish to even give it to Larry. I was like, let me make sure. Like I just wanted to make sure.
yeah,
And stuff like that. Oh, I'm a
She's a
Kentucky.
wild. She's a wildcat.
yeah. Kathy, I hope you're keeping track of all this,
Sand,
because
sand,
I sure haven't.
sand always. You guys are just freaking amazing. I am gonna run a photocopy of the.
Krisha, do you have a P.O. box?
I do. I just never went did it. I gotta go. Okay, now I gotta go. There you go. I did, Miss Valerie. I did. I just didn't want to say that, in somebody else's live or whatever on their video. That's where I saw you and I was like, okay, you know, to tell you. So I thanked you and everything. And I'm sorry for the stuff you're having to go through right now and your losses and everybody here. Y'all know. Y'all are here for a reason.
You know,
Everybody
Anna, Anna,
has or is gonna experience loss in their life, breathing or not. I
yeah,
mean,
Anna,
close.
Anna Brown says, I follow you all, don't chat much, but I have been here all the way with you. And there are a lot of people that just don't feel comfortable, like, commenting all the time, but they're there. For all of you that are listening right now that do not put a comment or anything, trust me when I say that we love you. All of us, we love you. We all are seeking justice. Valerie Moore, thank you so much for everything you've done. Here goes Okie doke.
Oh,
That made me laugh. I'm sorry.
okay, she is on and here it comes. Okay,
Uh,
up to the stretch.
I need artwork. So what
Switchback
I was
says, we got you and we really are here.
thank y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all just keep coming back. You know, just keep coming back.
When I think, listen, when I think, and I know Big E understands this, because I'm going to meet him in January. Am I not, Big E?
Yes, you are,
I'm
ma'am.
going to meet you
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm going to have a beer with you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're always offering everybody a beer. It doesn't, but anyway, you think about the fact that Kay and Larry, Krisha, even the other family members, of
Yes.
the victims and everything, they are having to go to these trials. They're having to travel. They got travel costs. They've got things
And
that
then
should
home
have never
too.
been laid in their lap in the first place.
Right.
And we like I said, there's some people that can't give, and that's they give their love, and that's more than anything. But if there is any way that anybody can give, please do, because like I said earlier, Krisha's got a family. Her and Jason's got a family. I've met them in person, and they'll find their way, but it
I'm
would.
just being real. Jason's on disability. It's a fixed income. It is what it is. It's never been just, I work. This is what I do. My ass hurts all the time because I need to go and get exercise because I don't
And I've seen you in
move.
person, Chris, and you got a plump one. You got
It could be a rock solid one, if I
you,
just learn
but
how
it's
to.
a good plump one, Chris.
Oh Lord!
Bouncing quarters off of it.
Oh my gosh!
Look at
No, I'm about to
Lisa.
leave.
Lisa Discovers. Thank you, Lisa.
Um,
Switchback image. Thank y'all. This
Thank
means
you.
so much. This
It
is,
really does.
when we got this news today, and Eric gave it to Krisha, and he said his stomach. He what was it? He said it just floored him. Basically, it hurt
Yeah.
him. And
Yeah.
then he shared it with Krisha. And then Krisha shared it with me. And we all, our hearts dropped. That's what I was trying to say. And I'm telling you, y'all, I have met this family in person. Krisha, Larry, Kay, their extended family members. They're wonderful, caring, loving people. They are the best around. I guarantee you, if I went back down, if I showed up at their house tomorrow without them even knowing, they just invite me in and cook me breakfast.
Yeah, hurry up.
That's the kind of people they are. They're loving, caring people.
Yes.
And even though I know that they're seeking justice and they need, they want justice for these victims, and they're searching for understanding in all this, and they have to do all these things that they wish they didn't have to. The bottom line is if we really care like we all say we do, let's do, or even if it's $1, even if it's $5, whatever, it helps them. It's the best. There's nothing, people say, no, KJ, love is the best. Let me tell you what, they're right. But at the same time, if there's any way, because and I know that just a little, we give, all of us have given donations to charity, and they don't, this isn't a charity thing, but you know what I'm saying?
It's a
We've given
community.
money because we feel it in our heart to do it. And I just think it's important. And I don't have a problem at
And,
all
You
and
expressing
you
it.
have.
definitely,
You
Right.
already have donated, I mean, it's just something we just never talked about. I didn't know our comfort levels. KJ and her husband, when they came in, they donated and surprised me with a nice gift.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want you to tell anybody that, ding
Oh,
ding.
it was her twin sister,
Yeah.
and
I have a twin sister named
I'm deaf and she don't
JK.
speak English. There you go.
I have a twin sister named JK.
There you go. Just kidding. And then the night that I went live, and this entire community went to the rescue. I lie, I take that back. I've seen this community in action when Tylee and JJ were missing. I've seen every one of you. In my peripheral, I couldn't say anything. Maybe at the time, I noticed though, just couldn't stop long enough. So Carrie Ann, she sent this to me and I waited till that night, that live stream, to open it. I had not opened it yet, and that's when her cousin, Carrie Ann's cousin, was missing, and everybody just pounced, and just everything just kicked in. I don't even know. I don't remember it because I don't know. Something took over. Jesus took the wheel for sure, and I don't know.
thank you,
And
Valerie. And
yeah,
okay.
thank y'all. And so after that, I opened this up, and it is a story, our story memory book. Did someone who matters to you die? Goodbyes hurt a lot. It is different for children. And so this is a book that I've got to make copies because I have, a few bonus and it's just to work through. It is going to be good for all of us. We haven't been able to do it yet, but we are. And it's just how it's a grief book, activity book that you do together. And I never got to thank her live. Also, Janine, who always is our Rexburg angel. Okay, she is now the grandmother, a first-time grandmother. I didn't know the name of the baby. I made this though a while back. Um, I just have to put the little name placard down here. She was born July 13th. I don't have it right in front of me, but I made this and I'm gonna send
Oh,
this to
pretty.
the baby.
Pretty.
Kind of just do stuff like that. I made one for Justin Lum too, but his baby's probably 2 years old now. But yeah, that's like the second one I've ever made, but still, so I made those two during this time. And she's beautiful and healthy, and that's all that matters. So Janine and Mr. Clint, congratulations. Although you want to be called, I forget what it is that you wrote on Facebook, but she'll figure it out on her own, and it'll stick. My mom wanted to be Grammy, and she's Momo. Thank you, okie dokie. Oh my god,
These people are just
and
absolutely
it
incredible.
skipped. Oh my god, y'all. Oh my god, I'm missing on it.
This right now, these names on here, 99% of them, I know that I can look at them and I've seen them before. Some of y'all are new on here and everything, but y'all have got to know. You've got to know how sincere and good this whole difficult research in this channel is, and what Kresha is. She has mowed through this. She has worked so hard. And I know for a fact there have been days that she's had to be in the middle of this grief process, and she's trying so desperately not to show it because she feels that she has to keep her chin up because she's one of those
I'm like my mom.
women. But I'm telling y'all now, this woman is the best around. She's got a heart bigger than freaking Texas. And you think about Big E right here. This guy right here, he is the real deal. We're not here for any other reason than to get our justice and to create a community of love and something good to come out of this most disgusting, terrible case. And the most beautiful voice that comes out of it all is Kresha K. Easton, and the voice that she is for Charles, for JJ and Tylee. And she has even had tributes to Tammy, and this is just, to me, to see this right now, to look at what I'm looking at all these supportive comments and seeing these donations and seeing y'all kick in like this. I will tell you now, my heart is overflowing. I can't tell you how I'm feeling right now. It's just incredible. It's like
got goosebumps all over me, KJ.
Gene. Then, oh my God, it's crazy. This is, I'm not expecting, so very, I'm blushing, but I feel this even when this is not happening. So, I mean, I don't even know. I feel like I'll just make it all awkward and stuff. Sit here and,
No, it's you being
you. Thank you.
You being you. That's what everybody loves about you, Kresha. You're you. You're nobody else. You're you.
Thank you.
And you don't ever have to apologize. You don't ever have to give reasons for whatever. You just be who you are, because you know what? Your spirit shines through in all of this, and you are the voice of Charles, JJ, and Tylee. And there might be days you might feel like you can't handle it. And guess what? That's the grieving process.
That's when other family members do their thing. We all have to do it. That's how I see it. We all are a voice. We all deal with it differently. But this is the only way I know how. It's the only way that it makes sense in my mind. Somebody needs to mute because it's echoing. When I saw that, who is echoing? Hold on, I'm gonna mute Kathy. Yep, there it is. Sorry, Kathy. I saw that text. I usually have a binder right here, and it has, in the little slip, the pocket or whatever, it has the text from my Uncle Charles to his lawyer, to his attorney, whatever his name is, Taylor Larson, and it's just, it's highlighted and all kinds of stuff, and it's just Charles to Taylor saying, I owe you this much. Just letting you know that JJ's over the moon. We're moving back. And I say we because, I took Lori. Basically, I'm back with Lori. And he said, what can I say? Love always wins. And I don't know what happened. It plucked me, and hit me in between the eyes. And I was like, love always wins. Yep. That's it. And I just ran, and I run with it, and it applies. I was wondering at the time, I was like, what is an umbrella that covers all the victims? Okay. Difficult research. Okay. That's me. That's what I do. What represents them? Tylee, Charles, JJ, Tammy, and Joe. All 5. All the time. It takes all of us to be a voice. And that was the perfect thing. God is love, and love always wins. Bam, it's there. So I love seeing it pay forward. Oh, I'll put the picture over it. But I mean, I have April Passy who, knitted some, or not knitted, crocheted and, did some, I'm what do you call it? A handkerchief. Uh, God knows we've used them in court already, and we're going to be using them a lot more. So I see gifts, going within the community, and they put "Love always wins." Hashtag Love always wins. I love that. That is so beautiful to see. Paying it forward with love. That's what we're supposed to do. Good moral compass, or if you believe in God, um, you know, it's just what we're supposed to do as just basic human beings. Is just be treat others how we want to be treated. It's pretty simple. Today I struggled. I failed, but I get back up, refocus, regroup, reassess, and I get back at it. I don't know any other way.
And everybody sees that in you, Cresha. And listen, I have to say this. I have to. The true crime community or people that are interested in these cases or whatever your reasoning is. And I know for the most part, most of all of y'all, if not all of you, y'all do genuinely, sincerely care. But how many of these damn cases of this terrible, hurtful stuff that goes on? And here's an opportunity. God had to, this is me. This is KJ. I'm not saying you feel this way. I'm saying I feel this way. God has given me the opportunity. He's given me the opportunity to meet these people and to speak with, even if I hadn't met them. What if I just ran across Cresha on YouTube? I get the chance to actually bond with someone to do something other than say, oh, that's terrible. I wished it would have never happened.
All are like that. Mm-hmm.
It's just a miracle. It is an absolute miracle that this case has opened up so many beautiful things. Because you know what? If you're thirsty, you're not just going to get a cup of water. It's going to be an overflowing fountain. That's
Yeah.
what it's going to be.
Exactly. 100% KJ.
Yep. I mean, I'm holding back my tears right now and chills. And
Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything to top that up, so I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna.
Okay, you guys, I need to interrupt for 1 second. Yes,
One.
I'm here. Oh, shut up, Eric. I promise I will go back and figure out all these donations. And I honestly did not expect this when KJ said this, so I wasn't paying attention. But email me. I'll put it in the thing again just in case. I will go back and listen. I will add them up and I will make sure that KJ gets the information via Kresha or,
and I'm going to
KJ.
do the PO box tomorrow. That way we can do
And,
that.
KJ, you do have my email address.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have the
And,
art.
and
Yeah.
I think by now you can trust me with it, but if you don't feel comfortable, that's okay too.
Okay, well, let me just say this. From where I'm standing right now, there's going to be two pieces of art given, one to Okie Dokie and to Anna Brown at this
There you
point.
go.
I'm so glad you.
I
I'm
just,
so.
I'm,
I
I'm
was glad
watching,
you.
I'm
Because I
watching
have the
the
two.
comments and bless their hearts. But
Yeah.
the way it's standing now, anyway, I could not just get, I have to do this for Okie Dokie and Anna Brown. If we're, that's at this point anyway, I don't see it any other way. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't. I've got a heart for helping the victims' family members. Y'all know that I love y'all. Like Cresha, you're like a sister to me. I've hugged you. I've
Yeah.
talked. We've talked about other things besides this case, face to face. And I just want you to know that there's absolutely in my power to do. I'm going to do it. You know why? Because God has the power. God has the power.
Okay, then KJ, email me so I can send you this information because I'm putting my email on there for people to send the stuff to because I know Crush is really busy.
I'm bummed out.
You know me by now, and you know nothing will ever. I hope I've earned your trust that nothing will ever go any
That took me a
further.
lot.
Yeah, well, I'll
But
have to tell you, Kathy, I sent you the first piece of art. You were the first person to get the art. And I want you to know it's not that I've always tried to fly under the radar because, I that's just the way I am. Y'all know I've got my own issues, but I will definitely will right here. I'm telling everybody, I will take your email and I will get in touch with you and we will get this all straightened out. And thank you, Kathy, for being that conduit. I appreciate that. That helps me to stay a little bit more private about my own personal, life and all this stuff. But if Cresha and, knowing everything you've done for her, and the fact Big E telling Cresha to give you
you
my
too,
phone
PJ.
number, y'all know that I'm putting a great deal of trust in you.
Yes, you are.
Never done this before. Okay. This is
I
new to me.
KJ, I appreciate that. And if you talk to Kresha or Biggie or Jen, you will know that I think I've proved myself that
Sweet.
confidence is confidence and I
Yeah.
keep my promises and I promise no information will ever go anywhere else.
Well, that is very comforting, and I appreciate that, Kathy. I feel like you've been sent to Cresha. Big E was sent to Cresha.
Oh,
Jim was
you
sent
too,
to
PJ.
Cresha.
You are too. I mean, you're
Just
leading
We
the
I
way.
was
all
I was
were.
sent to y'all. There you go. Dun, dun,
I
dun.
guarantee if these people on here, all these beautiful, loving people on here,
Isn't
if
that the beauty in it, though?
they are, I mean, I wish
Connections.
I could just hug all of them. I wish
And
I
I
could
will. I will try.
see their face,
I
And
swear. I
you
would
know,
so do a tour all the way up to Idaho and all the way back too. I don't care. And as many
the
places I could stop, I will. I would if I could. If I could just. I really can't. I have not had that. It's a luxury. It is a luxury in my mind to be able to pay for plane tickets ahead of time. Or make arrangements for me to go because Jason's going to be home.
Well,
2 months.
Tom and I are saving our pennies because like he says, dollars take care of themselves. And we are planning a cross country trip. And KJ, you're on the list.
are
So you're going to have to,
me.
Oh my
you
God,
know,
there's more.
so
Are you
oh,
serious?
oh, you got another one right below that, Cressy.
Wait,
That's
I
awesome.
know. Oh my God.
That's pretty awesome.
and
Uh, you,
KJ, I want to give you the biggest hug in the world.
Well, honey, let me tell you what, nobody does it better than you. And your husband is a very nice man. I've seen him in the comments. I'm actually stunned. And I just want y'all to know something right now. Today, when we got that news about the DNA and stuff, it threw me for a loop. But now I know that there's something better and bigger that could overcome that sadness of what we had to find out today.
It was a rough day today for all of us.
It was a reality check for me. It was just
And me.
it was a, hey, don't get too comfortable and just start, programming your mind, getting your mind set however best you can for the details that are going to come out. And nothing can prepare us for that. Nothing. I don't care. I've tried
No,
that. That is what I've done in this. I thought that if I would just jump in front of everything, I could protect my entire family from hurting. And that's in fact not how it works. So That was just my hypervigilance. That was me reacting to that was trauma. That was trauma.
We all have trauma and we all deal with it different, but we still understand. And that is why we're here. And that is why God brought this specific,
This family.
the whole family, but I'm going to add Jen in here too. Brought
Yes.
the 5 of us together because he knew we all needed each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And all that ugly from today has it's
Yep.
came to this.
That's
This
what they
beau-
do.
this beautiful night now. All the ugly from today.
And it's not the money. It's just the conversation. It's this.
Yeah.
It's
It's just
No,
this.
it's the love and the
yeah, yeah.
support.
And the support. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It is a breath of fresh air. If I
And
can relate that into words.
Because
yeah, and poor
because
Eric has to deal with 4 ladies with crazy brains, and he does it so well. And, he's my adopted son. Crush is my adopted daughter. KJ,
Oh,
you're my sister. And Jen's my adopted daughter. Well, actually, you guys are close,
I
so
mean, there's
maybe.
open spots. They're right here.
No,
I love
I
it.
can't take any more, but I love you all, and I will always be here for you. But I don't normally jump on and I don't normally talk, but I needed to say what I needed to say.
you're doing an amazing job, Kathy, and we love you for it.
Kathy,
Uh,
I'll get with
Thank
you.
you, Kathy. Thank
I'll get,
you,
I'll get
Jennifer
with you, Kathy.
Diane. Thank you,
and I
Ronnie.
just want to, speaking of which, I want to thank my co mods on this channel. And especially, I'm going to give a shout out to Jennifer Diane because she is my backup, my go to,
She's just sweet.
and it's
She's
just
genuine, just like everybody else. Here,
amazing. But KJ, you need to make me a mod so I can get rid of those idiots.
it's really
Yeah,
easy.
well,
KJ.
my channel ain't, I don't usually have to deal with that. Usually the
That
insults
was
are from
weird.
me, and
That
I
was
deal with that.
targeted.
I didn't know that they had attacked
It's
anyone. I
okay.
see it, and I apologize for that.
No, you
Well,
can't. I mean, it just.
no.
And I know better. We all know better. We all knew better. I heard people. I was typing it out. Let's just ignore it. And right at that point, I was like, "Oh hell no!" She attacked somebody that was always. She's always there. Carrie never. KCL now has been around forever, and even she treated her with grace. I don't know. I mean, that's
We
something
all
that's
do.
gray every now and then that just you're just like, what? And you just know that they're hurt. And so I was hurt in that moment and I gave in and I was like, F off, you know? And I mean, I knew better. I know better. I turn the cheek all the time.
Today was not the day for anybody, or any day for that matter, but today
It,
especially was not the day.
I'm not
No,
special.
it brought out the major mama bear,
But
and
you see that they
I
exist.
let Jennifer
They're
know in advance if that person showed up in here, their ass was mine.
yeah.
And bye bye.
Love y'all.
Love
I'm
you,
gonna
Kat.
say bye too, and I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, KJ. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Eric. Thank everyone. I can't even name all the people that donated. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in me. And we got to get through it to get to it. That's all I know.
Get
I don't
get
know how. I
make
just
sure you get KJ's
I will. I have.
picture.
Yeah. I'm the common denominator, and I'll I just can't think about it right now. But yes, we'll talk backstage.
As the administrative assistant, I will make sure that we have a way that we can all talk
Yep.
and I'm working on it. Crusha knows I'm working on it because I do that. That's my thing. Y'all do the research. Y'all do that stuff. I do the behind the scenes and try to make sure it runs smoothly.
That's it. I'm just, yep. Amen.
All right,
So
y'all.
much.
I gotta go. I got a dog standing there looking at me like he's about to bust. So.
Better bring your dog too.
I love y'all, and we will do this again soon, I hope.
Yeah, Krisha,
Yes.
I'm gonna go and eat some chicken and dressing now. I'm hungry.
Mitch.
I gotta go too.
All right. Well, then we'll talk tomorrow. Meeting adjourned. Love you guys. Love always
Love
I
ya.
wins.
love all of
Love you.
You guys
y'all.
are
Bye.
the proof. Y'all are the proof. Thank you.